everyone, Mrs. Rask here, and I'm here to do a writing lesson with you that goes along with August Week 2's hybrid lesson plans. And you received these from your child's teacher when they were at school, but I'm going to go through it all to try and help you a little bit, make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to go through all 3 days for writing and do a little quick mini lesson with you. So for day 1, it says that the first thing you have to do for writing is listen to the story, The Bad Seed. We included a YouTube link that if you go to your child's Seesaw account, you'll be able to just click on that link right there and it will pull you into a version of the book so your child can listen to it first. So that's your first job, is listen to The Bad Seed. Then, when you listen to The Bad Seed, you're going to come back and get to draw one of the characters from the story, and we're going to write words to describe that character. So that's this first page that looks just like this one. You might notice that there's 2 pieces of paper. If we were at school, we would have cut off that bottom half, so don't worry about that part. So right here in this box, you're going to draw the character. Now, our character, The Bad Seed's pretty silly looking. He looks like a sunflower seed. So you're going to draw that character right there. And then it says you're going to use words to talk about the character. So you're going to try and come up with some adjectives that describe the bad seed. Now it's kind of silly because one of the words you could use to describe the bad seed would be the word bad. At the beginning of the story, he's a pretty bad guy. You could use the word angry. He's a little frustrated sometimes. So those are all words that you could use to describe our character, the bad seed. That's what you're going to do for the first day at home. On day 2, when you get down to writing, it says you're going to practice retelling the story, The Bad Seed. And then you're going to talk about those key details that happen at the beginning and the end of the story. So that's what this paper is. Again, don't worry about the bottom half. We don't need that. So you're going to retell the story, The Bad Seed, to someone at your house or someone at your daycare or the babysitter. You're going to tell them what happened at the beginning of the story and what happened at the end of the story. If you need to re-watch the video on YouTube to help you remember what happened in the story, that's always a good option. After you've told someone what happens at the beginning of the story and the end of the story, you're going to get to write about it. And that's this paper right here that says The Bad Seed. It's got room down here for you to write 2 sentences that tell you about what happened in the story. You're going to write 1 sentence about what happened at the beginning of the story and a second sentence to tell you what happened at the end of the story. So let's think about the beginning of the story. If you remember at the beginning of the story, our character, the seed, he was pretty bad. So we could write that as our first sentence. So I could write, the seed was bad. That would be 4 words. Our first word says the. The is one of our sight words that we probably have memorized. You probably remember that the is spelled T-H-E. But if we're starting our story, we always have to start with a capital letter. So when you're writing the, you need to have a capital T and then your H-E. Let's think about our sentence again. The seed was bad. So our second word is going to be the word seed. We need to leave a finger space between our words so that we know where the break is. And we need to stretch out the sounds that we hear in seed. Can you stretch seed with me? S-E-D. 3 sounds. S is the first sound, and that's spelled with the letter S. S-E is spelled with 2 E's. They like to stick together. S-E-D. Our last sound is D, and that's the letter D. The seed was. Was is another sight word that you might have memorized. W-A-S. The seed was. Now I said bad, but you might have a different word in your mind to describe what happened at the beginning of the story. So I'm going to leave a blank there for you so that you can fill it in with what you want to say about how the seed was at the beginning of the story. The seed was something, maybe bad. Just show that you finished your first sentence, we always need to have punctuation at the end, and that's going to be a period. Most of the time, our punctuation in our stories is going to be a period because it's a statement sentence. It's just telling us something, like how the seed was at the beginning of the story. You're going to write that first sentence right here, and then your second sentence is going to tell you what happened at the end of the story. Now we know the seed changed his way at the end of the story. He wasn't quite as bad as at the beginning of the story. So you're going to write a second sentence to tell me how the story ended. How was the seed at the end of our book? Remember, when you start your second sentence, make sure you have a capital. Make sure you use finger spaces between your words, and don't forget to have punctuation at the end. When you write your two sentences, then you've got this nice area, and this is for your illustration. A good illustration will have about 5 details, and always use at least 5 colors to make it a really good picture. That's what you're going to do for the second day, day 2 of being at home. You're going to retell the story and then write your sentences to tell the beginning and the end of the story. Now on your last day, day 3, we get to do a pretty cool activity about our character, the bad seed. In the story, The Bad Seed, the seed was a sunflower seed. You might have noticed that in the picture. Write what you know about sunflowers. So we get to do a little bit different writing on the last day. We get to talk about sunflowers. And that's this paper right here. It's a pretty cool one. It's a little circle chart for us. You're going to get to talk what you know about sunflowers, what sunflowers can do, something that sunflowers have, and what sunflowers are. So let's think of some ideas there. Sunflowers can do something. Sunflowers have something. And sunflowers are. Now I'm going to come up with some ideas now. You might have your own details that you want to put in your chart, and that's perfectly fine. So let's start with our first one. Sunflowers can. I'm thinking about something I know that sunflowers can do, and I know that sunflowers can grow really tall. There are sunflowers that are as tall as me in some fields. So I'm going to say that sunflowers can grow. You might have another word to say what sunflowers can do, and that's just fine. Our next one says sunflowers have. Now I know that sunflowers have something special because of our story. I know that sunflowers have seeds. You might agree with me. You could also say that sunflowers have petals, or sunflowers have stems or roots. Anything you want to say would work that you know that sunflowers have. Our last one is the word are. Sunflowers are, well, I know something about sunflowers. I know sunflowers are a beautiful yellow. So you could say that sunflowers are yellow. You could say sunflowers are plants. You can come up with any detail that you know about what sunflowers are. So you're going to tell me 3 details about what you know about sunflowers, because our character, the bad seed, is a sunflower seed. Those are the activities that you are going to do this week, August, week 2, in writing during your hybrid days at home. I hope this lesson helps you know what to do. Don't forget, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to always call or email or send a message to your child's teacher, and they can give you more details if you need it. Thanks for watching.